everyone. Pastor Doug here. Hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy and not getting too restless, cramped up in your houses. I've been doing some thinking and I thought a lot about relationships, especially some of the teachings I've been teaching on the relationship we have with God. If any of you watched the last video in the image of God, we're created in His image to be in relationship with Him. And we're also created to be in relationship with each other. And those relationships can look different in very, very distinct ways. What I want to talk about today is the relationship between a male and a female. What does it look like? What goals do you have? You may be thinking, I just want to stay single, and that's perfectly okay. But we're still required to be in a relationship, whether it be a romantic one or just be one of friendship. But right now, let's talk about romantic relationships and what that looks like, especially if you're in high school or if you're in college or if you're in middle school. What does a relationship look like? Well, as usual, we can look to the Bible to give us a hint of what some popular people's relationships look like. There is a relationship in the Bible I hold dear because Janelle and I have a very similar relationship to this one. And who I'm talking about is Priscilla and Aquila. Priscilla was a Roman woman who we think actually came from wealth or importance. And then Aquila was a man who came from the region of Turkey and then moved to Rome. The details we don't know for certain, but we do know that they were married. And we also know that they became a very important partnership to Paul the Apostle. We have seen them mentioned 6 times in the Bible. And we know for a fact that Paul viewed them as being very valuable in his ministry. In fact, in Acts 18, it talks about them. And from Acts 18, we see that Paul lived with them for 18 months. And more interesting is we always hear about the church in Corinth. Well, that church in Corinth was in Priscilla and Aquila's house. It was a house church there. And Paul lived with them. So we see these important couple, man and wife, doing ministry together. I mean, God gave us each other for a reason. He created Eve for Adam for a purpose. And that purpose is always made known when you find that partner God has created for you. I found it with Janelle. And I tell you, there's many times that I cannot picture doing ministry without Janelle. I don't even think I would have got here without her. And I believe that God knew that. And He placed us together early on so that together we would develop naturally into the course of our ministry. Together we came to it. She didn't marry me and I was already in ministry. Together we came to ministry. Together we share these important beliefs that we have in God, and we're able as a team to share that to y'all and to everyone else we come across. The goal is to model our relationship to younger people who may be trying to figure out in middle school, what does a relationship look like? What does it look like when I meet a boy or a girl at school and I just want to spend time with them? I just want to hang out with them. What does that look like? It can feel awkward. It can feel out of place, especially that urge for physical touch, simply holding hands and walking down the hall. You have to get past these awkward feelings. This is a very natural thing. Of course, you have to follow the rules of the school. I'm not telling you to go against that. But every time we feel awkward in those circumstances, it's natural, but it's something God created us to do. The simple holding of hands can say so much to your partner. Janelle and I still do it today. After 21 years of marriage, we still hold hands. We still can look into each other's face and actually know what we're thinking. I can look across a room in some ministry setting, give Janelle that look, and she'll know exactly what I need from my expression. And that's just being together for so many years. And as sad as it is, so many people today have told us how rare it is that we're married as long as we have been, and we're not that old. It's a reflection on society where divorce is so common, but even more, not being married. We see so many young people that are just living together, and they haven't made that commitment to one another or that commitment to God, saying that we recognize that we are meant to be together, and we make that promise to God to stay together. Janelle and I have made a promise to each other that we're going to remain together because we love each other and because we are honoring God. We're not just chasing after things that make us feel good at the moment. So these are things to think about when you enter into a relationship, especially romantically. You have to decide, is this a romantic relationship or is this just a good friendship? And there is nothing wrong with a good friendship. There's nothing wrong at all. In fact, starting off with friendship before you move into romance is the best way to do it. That's how Janelle and I did it. We started off at camp together, working together, and we started as friends, and that friendship grew into something so strong that both of us knew we couldn't live apart from each other. So that's my encouragement, is that you become friends first. And you look to people around you, godly people who are believers, married people. Look to the way they treat each other. Model after them. God has given us so many people to look up to, so many mentors. Janelle and I have couples that are older than us that we look up to, not just our parents, but people in the church that are couples that have been married longer than us that we model after. So do you see how it all connects? How that we can get inspiration from others and we can look at a couple and go, you know what? I want that. I want myself and my significant other to act like that, to look like that. So look for mentor couples. Look for some even just a little bit older than you that are experienced. And when you get into the realm of dating, it's always a good idea to date in groups at first. I always recommend it. It's a good, solid way, especially somebody you may not know or somebody you just feel awkward around. And that awkward feeling is natural. I felt it around Janelle. She felt it towards me. I mean, it's part of getting to know somebody that you didn't grow up in a house with. That's how we learn, and that's how we grow to love each other. So relationships are important, and they're things that you have to think about. Even if you're not in one right now, not in a romantic relationship, odds are the opportunities will come, probably soon, and you'll feel that. So I encourage you to reach out to Janelle and I or somebody else you know. Ask questions. Ask what it looks like and feels like when you're starting to feel that romantic attraction to somebody. There's people out there that can guide you through it. And I want to encourage you to do that. So pray about it always. And remember that I love you and that I'm praying for you. That I encourage you to read your Bible every chance you get. Always searching for what God is telling you. And the only way we can hear God's voice is to read His Word. So I encourage you to do that, and I encourage you to seek out mentors in the faith, people that can guide you and love you through your journey through adulthood. It's something that never ends. I have many mentors still today. So remember that I love you, and remember to pray for each other. And until next time, goodbye.